calls himself a geek, and he's
sorry, I was playing Farmville.
idea.
You know this.
I know what these student scumbags are like. Anyway, so here we go then. Match of the evening: FAB versus Pulse Gaming. This is going to be a fantastic battle. FAB obviously are reigning summer champions. Let's take a look at the roster and show you now who's on this roster. They have had one change, and you can tell by the t-shirts there who it is. Respectful, Moz to Foxy on the end, and then we see Jimbo swapped out, of course, for Kimbo, who we did just see previously on Team Infused. Harry, any thoughts on this roster, please?
Very scary roster. They've gone 2-0 in the league so far. They haven't dropped a game. This is going to be their first real test, and likewise the other side. Fabi is essentially Pulse's first real test as well, but sticking on Fabi, very scary roster. They've obviously swapped out Kimbo, who we just saw in the last series, for Jimbo. A lot of people very skeptical coming in, a lot of opinions on forums and stuff. Should a change have been made? I think Jimbo is certainly proving the haters wrong at the moment. Fab 2-0 in the league. They go up against Pulse, who are looking very strong as well.
Okay, let's take a look at their opponents then. Over in the blue corner, it's going to be SLG, Cali, Punisher, and Fragger. The French beasts that are Pulse Gaming. Dan, thoughts on this roster, please?
I mean, the only team not to make a change. There's going to be a bit of friendship forming here. These guys are going to start to trust each other, and it's showing in their play. They put up a really good fight against Vibe. They got so close. If they had beaten Vibe 3-2, that would have been such a statement. Instead, they now need to face the reigning champions of FAB, and I think they can take a couple of games off FAB. Whether it's going to be enough to win the whole series, I don't know, but I'm looking at SLG to be making some plays. And also, I want to note, Kali, that man, he is on top of every single power-up, every single power weapon. He is just a coach, but inside the game.
And also, if anyone knows Human out there in the European scene, you will know that he actually does look a little bit like Human, I believe. What do you think, lads? Am I just talking rubbish there?
I think you need your eyes checked, mate.
All right, then I'll get my eyes checked. Let's take a look. Well, I might get my eyes checked at the best of 5 series layout. Game number 1, Coliseum Capture the Flag. Love a bit of Collie boys. Plaza Slayer will be game number 2. Empire Strongholds, game number 3. I hear quite a lot of people aren't a big fan of this game type, so surprised it's in there. Fathom Capture the Flag will be game number 4. And then Rig Team Slayer, if it's needed, will be game number 5. Gents, Coliseum Flag, what's your feelings? Mr. Dan, we'll start with yourself.
Pulse lost to Vibe 3-2 on this last week off stream, and I think it looks like FAB have tried to target some of their weak game types, because Vibe also beat Pulse on that Plaza Slayer, and FAB won Empire Strongholds against Infuse. So that's 3 good game types for those guys to kick things off. Just looking at those maps, I'd say it could go 3-0 to FAB just because of how well they've used that veto process. But you never know with these French boys. They can always pull something out of the bag.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to game 1, though. I mean, what a perfect kind of Coliseum, as it were, to put these 2 teams on. I mean, there's power weapons galore. There's, flags to be run. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
There's also a downside to that, though, because we kind of know that FAB are well known for controlling all those power weapons. No matter what it is, every single weapon is just going to be put into their bag. They're just going to keep them all, be happy with them. But unfortunately, that doesn't really set a good standard for the opposing team, because when they get those weapons, they have a tendency to kind of, like the train will be just chilling, and be chilling at the station, put the power weapons on it, and it just sets off, and it sets off in a good way. They have been known to... Exactly. They can trash teams once those weapons come up.
And what's scary about really any map, but Coliseum especially, is there is so much room to kind of maneuver. You get these players like Respectful, like Moz, that kind of weave in and out of these awkward kind of angles, and they're just a massive nuisance, and you're trying to kill them, but then they just kind of get away, and then the other one will come back and kill you. And those guys, I mean, 2 of the guys who had a lot of stick for not being the best players on LAN, they are now probably 2 of the best players on LAN. They've completely turned it around. And I'll say it, Respectful and Moz, 2 of the best players in Europe.
All right then, Harry, you're bobbing and weaving to this rock and roll music. Whose POV we're going to be kicking things off here on Coliseum, brother?
To tell you what, I don't think I've heard the term rock and roll used since, like, I don't know, the 1990s, so good on you for bringing it back. I think we're going to start this one off with Punisher. I mean,
well, you can tell he's a young boy, can't you?
Sorry.
Here in the 1990s. Welcome to the 80s, my friend.
Stop bullying me! Punisher is going to be the guy with kicking this one off with capture the FAB Coliseum. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and good work from him actually supporting his teammates. Some good kills coming out of Pulse early on to get that map control. Mo's going down. I said he's one of those players that's a nuisance. Respectful is going to go flying off the map as well. So early control for Pulse, but they now need to get into a position to start pulling this flag and really make the most of this map control.
So Cali is going to shut down Jimmy. We also see, as we saw, Respectful unfortunately go flying off that map. We're on his POV straight off the respawn. Coming there, out the sniper corner, just going to move across and advanced over, and really, I don't want to call it a rotation, but moving away from the action I want to speak to, try and come in off the flank and see if he can just come up behind them or catch them spawning here. Is he going to have it in? Is he going to grab the flag? Yeah, of course he is. He's going to move it straight out of the bridge, and now we look. Oh, wow. That's a double. There we go. That's a big rocket coming across. SLG looking for his triple. It will drop down below him. Now he's going to touch the flag, run it out towards his teammates. He's got one person. He's actually got two. So he's got one down there just waiting on the oven. They're now going to bump it straight up through the maze. This is going to be a cap. Unless someone can do some damage here. Love the angle there, Harry. Thank you very much. Just to check out on the wing. No one's there. Stealth cap coming in. Oh my word. Pulse Gaming 1-0 up against FAB.
Yeah, they are here to put up a fight. And I know what Respectful was trying to do. He just wanted to pull that flag to try and distract Pulse. But unfortunately, he was greeted by a rocket to the face. And SLG is going on a tear at the moment. The flag is returned, but he's more than happy just to kind of stick around. He's going to want to clean up as many FAB players as possible before they go in and pull another flag.
This man right here is close to being in my top 5 players in Europe at the moment. He's completely turned it around since halfway through last season where he couldn't really play as much. Now he's starting to play again. He's firing on all cylinders. He basically just ran a flag across the map and he's got 3 kills after that on the opposing side as well. So great stuff so far out of SLG, and he's about to put his team surely very close to being 2-0 up.
SLG just taking a dump on FAB right now. Oh my word, doing some awesome work. He's just allowing them to put flags in. Look at this, the man is on an absolute tear. Still, will he finally die? No, he will not. He'll jump
up. What am I seeing?
How is he alive? What is this?
Yeah, FAB needs to be careful that they are not going to be the toilet for Pulse. Pulse could just push on right now, and they are looking extremely dominant. FAB need to respond. They need to group up, because at the moment, we're finding players like Respectful caught out on his own, but you can see he's doing well now to pull this flag. He had support finally from Mose, and this is what FAB do best. As soon as they get one little chance, they do make it count. They are so clinical with their flag runs.
But let's just take a moment to appreciate what they did there. They took down SLG. I'm not saying he was a one-man machine there, but oh boy, he was causing some serious problems there for FAB. And they took him down. They pulled the flag. They actually ran it into him in the same way they were going. They got the Slayers, and then the support came in. But now look at this. Unfortunately, you mentioned it, Dan. This is what FAB do best. Look at the aggression. Look at the pressure. They're in the base. They're on the spawn. They're slaying them. They're slaughtering them. And now they're allowed to run this flag. You can just see they're up on the ledge. We're going to see Cali's waiting, but you can see it in the kill feed. We're going to see Foxy put a bullet in his brain. We then see a nice, perfect flag coming straight out of Respectful. Doing the dirty. Ground pound comes in. Unless there's some defense, yes, it's there. It's going to be, I believe, 2 Foxy. That's going to be 2 flags consecutive in a row now for FAB.
And this is what is so scary about FAB. As soon as you give them just a little bit of a sniff, they will come in and they will make you pay. And we just see now a kill everywhere. FAB getting another kill. Mose getting another kill. Another flag is on the move, and you can see Pulse members, they're trying desperately to get down to bottom mid. As you see, the flag is going to be almost returned here, but Foxy at the moment is just having a field day trying to snipe everyone off spawn.
Yeah, and even if he just doesn't actually get the kills, but he just starts tagging people, at least he's doing favors for his team. One bullet goes in. He needs to get this stopped really quickly. This will be a massive kill if he lands it, which he doesn't. Unfortunately, he gets it just a second too late. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all tied up. 2 flags apiece. 8 minutes remaining on the clock.
Even though Foxy did have that sniper, he was trying to get people off spawn, and you said he was tagging them, but he wasn't killing them. And that was actually really important. As Jimbo does pick up the rockets, but he gets beaten down. Punisher's rewarded with a sniper and a scatter shot, but he does take the scatter shot rather than the sniper. And now he can push on. Pulse need to get aggressive. Take FAB now whilst they are on the defensive, whilst they're not expecting a flagpole.
Jimmy grabs the rockets. Punisher comes in, throws him out of the nightclub, says, "Good night, my friend. Take a walk home." This is an awesome game, ladies and gentlemen. Pulse Gaming, Harry, the aggression coming out of the stocks right here. Do you think FAB expected it?
Certainly not, but I tell you what, they have poked the bear. FAB are certainly very angry, but Cali, at the moment, he has this rocket. If he can stop this flag, he could be absolutely huge for his team. Doesn't quite get the kill with the rocket, though, and the flag will actually go in. Mose puts the final flag in for FAB, and there we go. Game 1 goes in favor of FAB.
Woo! What a game. Incredible stuff from both teams there. I'm looking forward to seeing how many kills SLG got, because that boy at the start could not be stopped. Unfortunately, only 4 coming out from Fragger. Maybe, just maybe, if it had kind of stepped up a little bit more in comparison to Team's team, they may have been able to bag another flag and take the win. 2 caps coming out of Respectful. He's not playing games. 12 and 12 kills out of Mose and 2 Foxy. Just wild. Awesome. I don't think there's any way to explain that. Awesome game number 1.
I mean, Pulse started so well, but I said how clinical FAB can be. As soon as FAB get that chance, they do make it count. I think pretty much maybe 1 or 2, but the rest of the times they pulled the flag, it was always a cap. They picked their moments perfectly. Pulse so close. I felt like if they could have just pressed on a little bit when they had that map control, then they would have been able to get that win. But, you know, it's a good showing from Pulse, and they definitely can show that they can roll with the big boys.
Certainly a highlight clip here. Awesome, awesome work. You were just clip after clip after clip. Now, kind of, Harry, obviously looking at more than us and kind of analyse this one. Where were the real turning points in that game for yourself?
It's tough to say, really. I mean, it feels like Pulse had a really great start of the game, but then FAB, once they realised, hey, you know what, we're actually in a game right here, let's wake up a little bit. 2Foxy had some great moments with the sniper. Unfortunately, couldn't quite... This shot right here, couldn't quite hit it. I think he hits the shoulder and it doesn't work out. But overall, I think, honestly, the early game momentum certainly went in favour of Pulse, but then as soon as FAB found their feet, it was pretty much all over from then on.
I love that last part. It was super, super unlucky that he did it his shoulder, but Fragger like, nope. I'm
scoring this flag.
I'm staying here, boys. I'm not losing my face like my teammate did. But what a wild, wild game. We'll bring you the series layout in just a second to show you guys at home, if you are just joining us, what we're going to be playing as we move across this best of 5 and moving into game number 2. I'm lost for words. That was a really... I love watching games like that where it's quite neck and neck and coming all the way down to the line.
Yeah, I fully expect actually this entire series to be like that game number 1. I mean, I see Pulse actually really bringing it to FAB. I expect them to take at least a game. From what I remember, Pulse very efficient on Plaza Slayer, so FAB could be in for a shock on this one as well.
Pulse did beat Prophecy 50-21, but they did lose to Vibe 50-46. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts. I think when Pulse get out of control and they get that early start, yes, I think FAB could be in for a bit of a horror story if they're not careful. But I think it really demonstrates the caliber of these two teams. When you do get a game that is that fast-paced and does finish with a 3-2, it just shows how clinical these teams are and how powerful and how great they've really kind of mastered this game, because they know exactly what they want to do and they really just pull their socks up and get those flag caps in.
So here we go then, guys. Rock and roll. It's game number 2, Slayer on Plaza. First 250 kills wins, or whoever has the highest when the time on the clock hits 0 will win and will take game number 2. You can see the sniper rifle is in play. We've also got the OS top mid. All these power weapons come into effect. Whoever can lock them down usually is the victor. One thing I'm looking forward to, SLG. If he grabs that sniper rifle and if his team give him room to set up, he will wipe out people's faces. At the moment, I just can't. I'm lost for words. Seriously. Pulse Gaming are looking incredible.
They really are, and considering the start of the season last time for Pulse, what they were, and they were the whipping boys of last season, let's be honest. But then towards the end of the season, they started to find their feet. They found the roster they were comfortable with. They haven't made any changes. And SLG doing great work with this sniper. And now already, FAB are on the back foot. They're stuck in that yard. They need to find a way out. And Pulse need to make sure they don't get caught out bottom mid like that. They can set up, and they can make sure they can use this positioning to get a good lead.
I really like this rotation here from SLG. He kind of felt the pressure from Mose, but he could actually be caught out in the end. He does spot him, but the rotation around towards this cafe area is really nice out of SLG. He will keep himself out of harm's way. Not sure if he actually quite picked up that player, but don't worry, he's got Cali backing him up, and we've seen this before. The bodyguard situation, Cali will back up SLG all day and let SLG just rack up kills.
Oh, look at these players though. Look at this teamwork. Harry, you called it perfectly. He goes down. Cali lets him charge in. The bait and switch was real. 8-3. Pulse Gaming have come out to play, ladies and gentlemen. We mentioned it earlier on, just working around SLG, letting him find a place, letting him chill there. I think we should, what do you think, Harry? Turn off player outlines maybe for just a couple of minutes, just to leave a little bit of anticipation as we're looking down the barrel of this sniper rifle, straight through the scope, straight through the eyes of SLG as he tries to find some more faces.
Yeah, and I just want to remind everyone at home, Pulse are currently playing the reigning champions FAB. FAB, who are expected to dominate this season, but at the moment, they are just stuck in that yard, and you've really got to be looking at FAB and saying, how are you guys going to get out of yard? How are you going to regain this map control? You are currently the best team in Europe. We want to be looking for you on how to demonstrate to everyone else of how to get out of one of these setups. But I tell you what, it's almost impossible to get out of a setup when someone is hitting this many snipe shots.
We are only 2 minutes into the game, Harry, and Pulse are already quadrupling the score here of FAB.
I can't believe some of the shots that SLG is hitting. This guy is definitely in my top 5 players in Europe right now. Is FAB who actually get the overshield, so that's a bit of a saving grace from them. Jimbo will take down SLG, so that puts a stop to his spree, and now let's see if FAB can get themselves back in this game.
Oh, Mose comes flying up the lift, and all of a sudden SLG just sends him back to Italy there as he puts one point blank between his eyes on board with Jimbo, trying to clean up this kill, which he will manage to do. But still, Dan, that is a double score when we look at it across the board, 8-16.
It is, but this is the moment. FAB managed to get that overshield, and as soon as they did, you just saw the swarm of FAB push out. Jimbo got some important kills. He needs to not get caught out there. I think he maybe should have gone bottom mid to try and support his teammates. There is still an incredible lead here for Pulse, and Pulse will be more than happy to just slow this one down as Kali does get stuck, but there's still an 8-kill lead, and FAB need to respond. Perhaps they need to start setting up for this next overshield already, because they know it's the swing point in this game.
And one thing to note is that Jim was just sat, he was literally just sat waiting for this to spawn. Did have a little bit of room, needs to move back. I'm looking for Respectful to give him a little bit of support there because no one's covering from behind. Players are pushing aggressively over into the yard, and then fair play to them. You know, if you want to rotate around there, that's fine. We're going to see, I believe that's Punisher, I think it is, Sonny, I'm sure that's Punisher. It's actually Fragger, excuse me. We'll get caught in a corner. Jim will turn around and flip. He does at least tag him up. That kill, we saw no assist there coming in. Finally, SLG does go down, but every time we see a kill coming out of them, you know, SLG and the boys just answer back.
Yeah, this lead entirely came from pretty much Pulse just playing the bodyguard system around SLG. We saw Jimbo there trying to fly towards his FAB teammates, but no one really giving him enough love there. I mean, we saw a bit of one of the Pulse players actually trying to hold up play a little bit. That allowed SLG to come around the back and kill Jimbo, who had that sniper.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Fragger was just being a massive nuisance. He was just clearly screaming to his teammates to come and support him, and it seems like wherever there is one member of Pulse, there is always going to be a second. And I tell you what Pulse are doing phenomenally well is as soon as a member of FAB jumps up to that top orange section, that top yard section, they always respond. They lay down hell on any member that is up there. They don't give them an inkling. They're not giving them any sort of map advantage, no height advantage at all. You can see that's what FAB are trying to do. Jimbo manages to get an overshield. He does have a sniper as well. Perhaps this is the way back into the game, is just a 5 kill separating these two sides now.
Yeah, he did have Mose looking straight over his shoulder then to at least help him out. Now we can just see Jim, who's just going to wait, but shots like that, I mean, it's easy to criticize, but you really need to be landing them. Spins around, gives Kali one straight to the body. He's going to drop down. That grenade will not find his target, unfortunately. He's left to stay alive. Scopes in hard, finds SLG, diving bottom mid, looks straight up and finds Fragger just diving out the window. But now he's got 2 members of Pulse Gaming hiding around the snipe area, so look for some of his teammates just to kind of help him out and rotate together, which they are doing. We talk about the buddy system, 2 members, but the buddy system answers back. 2 members of Pulse Gaming come back and try and help him out. Foxy as well on the kill for there, bagging a very important double kill.
Good play from Jimbo there. He noticed that the explosive barrel was still up, so he did kind of just back off, because otherwise he may have been punished. I said, how are FAB going to respond when they were about 10, 12 kills down? I said perhaps they were going to wait for the overshield, and that's exactly what they did. Both times they knew the overshield was coming up. That's when they decided to push out. They managed to grab both of them, so they really did fantastically to push out so successfully. They managed to close this to a very equal game, and now this is where FAB get dangerous. When Pulse don't have this control, when Pulse aren't going to be as confident because they don't have that sniper in their hands, they might push out just a little bit willy-nilly, and that's going to play into the hands of FAB.
So let's just count this down for just a second. Things have got, I don't want to say things have slowed down because really they haven't, but when we have a look at the score feed there, it was tied up 25-25. Now all of a sudden, Pulse have just banged another 5 on the board, where, you know, FAB have only hit what?
You know what's very interesting? FAB have actually rotated here round to the yard, round to glass, when that sniper's coming up and the overshield's coming up very soon as well. I'm not sure if Pulse will actually really know that this is happening. We have Fragger here who's kind of posted up to prevent this kind of play happening, but interesting that FAB decide to rotate away from the sniper towards the glass, and in the end, Team Foxy actually will pick up a kill.
Let's find SLG's POV and turn those player outlines off, Harry, because there are 2 snipers in play. To give you guys a quick note, SLG has one over here down in Hotel, and I believe Jim Bossity also has one in play, which he does down on the loop. Looking for any players. SLG should quite easily finish. Oh, he doesn't. They actually get punished. They managed to bring him out. So that, most does die, but they still brought him out into the open. They shut that advancement down. Now, oh, straight underneath him. Oh, that'll be a big kill. No, he's not going to get it. Did attempt to get the trade off, but he will not. Now we see 2 sniper rifles fall in the hands of FAB. One in the hands of Foxy, one in the hands of Jimbo. This is not the greatest of places you want to be if you are Pulse Gaming.
Definitely not, and we saw how FAB responded when they were stuck in yard, and now Pulse need to do something similar. They just need to be patient and really pick their moment, perhaps when the overshield is going to come up. The game got a little bit sloppy in the last minute. We saw a few players running around bottom mid, and actually it played into the favor of FAB because they were able to catch out SOG, who had the sniper. He actually almost got really punished, but luckily one of his teammates was there to support him. 2 Foxy, though, is always a man you can trust with a sniper rifle. He knows what angles he wants. He's probably the shot caller for his team. He's going to be telling his team where he wants them to be, where they want it to set up, and they are going to be well aware that Pulse are probably going to make a move when that next overshield is going to come up.
Alright, so we're going to chill out here for just a second, guys, on the casting desk. We're going to let this game kind of play out, let the game do the talking a little bit. Harry, I think it'd be fair if we just, we'll leave the player outlines on so the people at home can see what's going on, but we're just going to take a little bit of a breather here and just watch the game unfold and see exactly who takes the advancement while we're all tied up at 34-34, 4 minutes remaining on the clock. Alright then, Dan, we will see Fabi taking the lead there, but honestly, it's a very fragile lead. They're pretty much all drawn up, 40-39. Each kill for kill answering back, one team after another, but the fresh sniper rifle has landed in Jimbo. He picks up the ammo, and I want to question this positioning, do you think? Down bottom mid with the snipe? Once
the game's slowed down like this, you can go for these unorthodox positions. You can try and surprise your opponent by getting an angle that they're not really expecting. Sometimes it is a winning play getting those positions, but now Jimbo needs to be careful because a few players are on spawn, and perhaps this is going to be what Pulse need to get back into the game, but Mose also has a sniper as well, so he will be well aware that those players are down there, but he misses 2 shots. Now, a 3-kill deficit for Pulse Gaming after being so dominant early on, having such a commanding lead. They are now looking at possibly losing this game, and that is just why FAB are probably the best team in Europe right now.
But you know what? Still not over for Pulse. I'm assuming the a sniper rifle may be on the opposing side. Most scopes in, lands one in the back of Fragger. Killing spree comes out from him. Now they're getting a good lead. 2 minutes on the clock. 4-kill lead for them. He's going to bounce a grenade on the floor. Look for some hit markers. It is going to land. He's just going to steamboat in there on SMG. He's got the silenced SMG, excuse me, on SLG. Silenced SLG. Too many S's, too many G's there. GG. I think that's going to be all she wrote. 46-42. 2 minutes remaining. SLG steams. It's actually Punisher, excuse me. Steams in, gets the beat down off on him. Bags another kill and another point on the board here for FAB.
Yeah, I mean, post-game in, they were like, look, okay, so we've trapped FAB into yard, but we can't just, like, kind of let this game run away from us. There's only a minute and a half left, so that's why SOG pushed in. But FAB are more than happy to slow this down and wait. They only need 2 more kills now, and this has actually been a masterclass. Considering how far they were behind, this is great stuff.
Yeah, considering you said that FAB are happy to slow the game down, it was actually Pulse who slowed the game down when that overshield was coming up. 49-44 right here. This is going to be game. As Respectful will close it out. Pulse were the ones who slowed it down, slowed it down and waited for that overshield. and they actually worked out in their favor, but just the pure dominance from FAB came home, and there you go, they take the win.
16, 15, 12, 14, 13, 10. Couple of 7s at the bottom coming out of Fragger and Jimbo. I mean, the only kind of noticeable stat there is the 10 assists coming out of team captain SLG. Just to let you know, guys, know as well, there will be, I think, going into this, a few teabags back and forth because they are very good friends here. SLG and Respectful and Moz, they're very good friends. Many of years of Halo between them. I mean, I'm going to really quickly, Dan, anything you kind of see from that game?
I just think that was phenomenal from FAB. They were truly pretty much down and out. A lot of teams would have crumbled being that far behind. They would have just played into the hands of the team that does have control. But unfortunately, Pulse just weren't able to take advantage of that clear map control that they did have early on. SOG was hitting incredible shots throughout the whole of the start of the game, but then he couldn't get into those positions once again with the sniper.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Jimbo there actually. We saw the 2 7s at either side of the scoreboard there. Jimbo only had 8 deaths compared to his other side who had 15. I think it was either Punisher or Frag. I can't remember who on the Pulse side, but either way, good job there from Jimbo keeping his deaths down. And we see here, look at the score, 23 to 15. That's a commanding lead for Pulse, and you've got to say the form that they've been in so far that we've seen them on stream, you wouldn't expect them to throw that kind of lead away, but FAB showing their dominance, showing why they are the European champions, and they take home the win.
Honestly, it is a little bit gutting. I mean, credit to both teams. It came down really well there. Honestly, it was an awesome game to see, just like game number 1, where you called it perfectly how you said this was going to be a close one all the way through. I can only imagine this is going to be the same as we look towards game number 3. We'll bring you guys at home on screen the series layout in just a second to show you how we're landing here at game number 3, which I believe is Empire Strongholds, if I'm not mistaken.
Look at you go.
I know, memory completely like a sieve, and I have no idea where I did catch that one from. Dan, game 3. Empire can be very scrappy, very back and forth, but at times, with the Saw in play, very unforgiving. How do Pulse take advantage of this map and really kind of claw a game back here on Fabi and at least try and put 1 point in this series on the board?
I think they keep it messy and they keep it aggressive, and they don't allow FAB to even try and set up. They don't give them a chance to breathe. I mean, you saw Pulse, okay, in that last game they had control and it automatically just slowed down because they had that massive lead, but in a way it kind of played into the hands of FAB because they were able to take that breather and think, like, what do we need to do? How can we push out here? Let's wait for this overshield, and by slowing that down, I think it does play into the favor of the reigning champions. I mean, FAB, they won this game type against Infused off stream last week, 100-34, so that's a pretty dominating performance, and they're going to want to rectify, they're going to want to do something very similar to that. And I'm not sure about Pulse's, do you have any kind of scrim results, Harry, or anything from the past? No, just, I didn't know if you had anything there, but maybe this is a good game type for Pulse, and perhaps that's
Can
why
you give me a hand? I'm under the bus at the moment. What? No, I was...
Oh, wow. Damn, son.
No.
No, we're out. Oh, come on. There we go. Thank you. Spectating and working while watching ESL Halo HCS action. Thank you, Misplaced Yank. I believe that is possibly one of Reese's friends. I think I played Warzone.
Who's Reese? Can you please use an online alias for me?
Excuse me.
Be professional.
The very small but talented Moa. The little mower himself. The little memer, as I like to call him.
Looking forward to this game type, guys. I won't lie. I like how this game type kind of progressed. I'm not too sure on how I feel about the Saw being on this game type just yet, but I like the way it's progressed from Worlds throughout last season and now up to this kind of period in the game. I'm liking how teams are starting to exploit this bottom security kind of area with the Saw. They can either go up top and anchor between the strongholds, or they can go down low and anchor all 3 strongholds. So watch out for that. In this one going forward, we're going to be starting this one off with Jimbo.
Rock and roll, here we go. Tweet the stream, use the hashtag HCS. Can Pulse Gaming bring 1 point on the board? Or will Fabi send the French pack in with a nice clean 3-0? Cali looking down the barrel of the green gun, doesn't find Jimbo as the target. Will have another crack at it, jabs it up.
No respect.
Oh no, he's actually going to dive away. Jimbo survives. He's just going to anchor that corner and hope that Cali pushes. They're going to blow up the barrel. Jim's going to challenge hard again. And you know what? I like this play from Jim. He's just been a nuisance.
Oh, wow.
Moz gets his OS completely ripped off. Jimbo answers back and picks up a double as well. Nice work from Jimmy. He's going to take Red Base back into his hands. And
cross map barrel.
what? Did I just see that?
Cross my barrel!
He actually just crossed.
Jimbo, stop it.
Oh, wow. Good old Jimmy. And I'm just seeing SLG teabagging there up on Tower 3. Clearly not impressed by that one.
I mean, and that's what makes a top player. Not shooting a barrel across the map, but Jimbo's survivability. If he had died straight away then from that green gun, but it's just his survivability, and that is really what sets the men from the boys, is being able to run away, put your head down, survive, and then come back and challenge once again. He had the confidence to jump out the window. He knew that his team were there to support him. So great work from Jimbo. He's kind of setting the pace of this game so far.
This is actually really scary. It's scary territory here for Pulse, because FAB have the pit and blue, and now they're all collapsing on red as well. This is triple cap territory, and Pulse, they are without a base, without a home, without a roof under their head, and it is not looking great.
It's 3 trip down, unfortunately, here for Pulse Gaming. The points are racking up thick and fast. They need to stop the bleeding, but here comes Respectful, saw in hand, ready to rip some people apart. SLG is gonna punish him because he missed a couple of bullets. Thankfully, Moses there to at least clean, Jimbo to clean up the kill. But now Jim can just happily just rotate between blue and red, do whatever he wants. When you've got a saw in your back pocket, you've got half ammo, you can just tap away and just at least, you know, be a nuisance, ripping people's shields off. There's 2 people. There's the beatdown coming in. He will pick up the double, get the trade, and Respectful comes in for the reset.
I love that from FAB. They have complete control of the map, and they say, look, whoever's got the saw, you can just go back and forth between red and blue, and we can pick and choose where we want to go, where we can attack. As soon as they start to take back red or blue, let's just get aggressive. Let's take it back off them. Let's constantly keep them off the back foot. Let's keep as much of a tri-cap as possible. Let's really bleed out this team and take advantage of this positioning and this map control that we have right now.
I can see Callie's a big fan of that green gun. He gets a couple of shots off now and then. Unfortunately misses that one. His teammate's going to be drilling Foxy in the side of the head. Foxy will go down from above. That's going to be Punisher looking to try and bank some nades off and get some hit markers on players around the corner. It's going to be, of course, Respectful who's rotating round. His teammate Mose will just ignite him with the saw there from that BR ledge. And now he's going to dive in with the DMR. Clean up the hill, and once again, the points are getting back on the board now.
Yeah, and Fabi are just literally running back and forth saying, ooh, to red we go, to blue we go. We're having a merry old time, and they're really... Exactly, they are basically the Chuckle Brothers right now. They are enjoying themselves. They are really dominating. They don't even look like they are breaking a sweat. This looks pretty easy for them. I've got to be honest, I don't want to say that, but it shows there. If Mose can waste 5 seconds to just be putting shots into someone's body, that shows what a dominant performance this is from Fab.
All right then, so this is looking pretty dangerous here for Pulse Gaming. Harry, talk to me. Obviously, at the moment, they're in a position where they can go outside base, back and forth, back and forth. How do they lock down bottom mid, you know, first, and then transition to the outside bases? What have they got to do to get that bottom middle section and then move out?
I think at some point you just have to group up and make sure you get a kill on the board and then use your man advantage, all as just a pack of 4 to just try and steal a stronghold away from Fab. But right now it's just looking absolutely dominant. I mean, it's single-digit points that Pulse have, man, and they were looking so strong in the previous 2 games. It just shows how good Fabi are on this game.
Well, it's because off spawn, every time Pulse are going for that red or blue, I just want to see them just maybe push for the middle, try and mix things up, because they're just playing into the advantage and the map control that Fab currently have. Just 10 points needed now for Fab to take this series, and 3-0 sweep will just be an absolutely crazy performance for them, and it will really just... It's exactly what they were doing last season.
Well, they do get the contest, but look at the time, 95-7. This one's just going to tick down. They're going to push the triple again. Oh, saying that, pit and blue, unless we can see a miracle happen. Nope, there's a triple cap. Game, set, match. Rest in peace.
GG.
Pulse Gaming, well, yeah, it wasn't really, to be honest with you. 100 points to 7. The double-digit club wasn't even in sight. Harry, run us through the kill feed.
Well, I said it was GG.
La breadstick?
Oh, there's a button on there, my friend.
But it was not GG. It was BG.
It was PG?
Raga, sorry to put you on blast, bro, but we don't really need breadsticks in the Pro League anymore. And that's not going to help your team win the game. Well, hey, at least, you know, his team almost got as many points as he did kills. I mean, they only got 7 Stronghold points, right? I mean, that's the silver lining, I suppose, maybe. Either way, Respectful, one of the best players in Europe, arguably the best player in Europe, with the most kills in the game, 12 for him, but his team really not that far behind. The lowest Slayer on Fab was actually Jimbo with 8, so only 4 behind Respectful.
I think that's really set a statement from Fab, because Vibe only just beat Pulse, and now FAB are saying, look, okay, Vibe, when we're going to face you, we just 3-0'd those guys. We want to keep our position as the best team in Europe. We don't want to drop a series yet again. These guys are just looking absolutely fantastic, and dare I say it, is this finally the best team in Europe? Is this the team that is going to kind of overshadow that Epsilon squad that we did have?
And of course, there is one member of that Epsilon squad on there.
Indeed.
He does have quite a lot of weight on his shoulders. If there is one man who kind of wants to be able to go to Worlds later on down the line, of course, make an advancement on that top 8 position, it's Jim. And this time, I think it's unfair to say, because it's a lot of differences and a lot of things came into play to get to that point. They played absolutely well. That Epsilon roster at the time was a pretty damn dominant force. We do have him on the line. We're bringing him very shortly to do an interview with him, and we can talk about him and this team and how he thinks this whole Pro League is going to play out on this new roster. I certainly think he's, don't mean to be nasty or out, but he's certainly in a better position now than he was at the start of the fall season with the team change. He definitely come out on top. Is it too early to ask the question, is this by far the best team in Europe?
I want to see them play Vibe first. I know I keep saying, hey, let's not judge teams too quickly, but they did just dismantle Pulse, who've been looking very, very good. But I do believe a lot of the matchups we're seeing in the Pro League are very matchup dependent, right? It depends on vetoes, depends on game types, depends on who's playing well on a certain day. I can't say with absolute certainty so far that FAB are the best team in Europe, because we know how good Vibe can be. When that matchup finally happens, I think we'll have a definitive answer, because those two right now definitely my top 2.
Well, I said it could be a 3-0 because of the game types, and it did seem that FAB looked at what kind of Pulse lost to Vibe on and said, let's try and play those game types, and they did, and it worked. And you say, are they the best team in Europe? Yes, right now they are the best team in Europe. Are they the best team ever to grace Europe? Perhaps. That remains to be seen. I mean, I know I questioned it. I said I don't know whether the team change was necessary, but at the moment, it looks like it's working pretty well.
Well, let's speak to a man who's actually on this team and who we've been speaking so much around, Mr. Jimbo. Can you hear us, my friend?
Yep. Hello, guys.
How you doing, dude? You all right?
Yeah.
So, another win in the bag for FAB. First of all, how you feeling, brother?
Good. Shaky first 2 games for me personally, but game 3 was a bit better, but we're looking good as a team right now.
Just kind of, obviously, we didn't catch up with you last week. So, looking at last week and this week, obviously, X-Men, it's safe to say, they give you a couple of decent games, and then Pulse, certainly, giving you some damn good games. Is this about you as a roster finding your feet, or is this the league as the whole where the teams are getting better?
I think it's really us just still getting used to me being on the team. I obviously play different to the way that Kimbo played, and we're playing it I'm just getting used to a different play style from the way that I used to play my team. So I think we're still working on that. Last week's practice wasn't the best for us. Perry had Two Foxy had food poisoning, so we weren't able to play as much. But the way that when we play against X-Men, they caught me off guard personally. I don't know about the rest of my teammates. They caught me off guard. I thought it was a bit of an easier series versus them, but it clearly wasn't. But Pulse, I expected to be a lot better than the way they played versus us then, to be honest. No disrespect to them guys, but going game 5 versus 5 last week, and the day it didn't seem like it was that same team. But we're looking strong.
And a lot of people did question you replacing Kimbo. Myself, I didn't even know whether it was going to work out, whether you were going to be the right fit for that team. Clearly, it is kind of working. How have you dealt with those questions being asked? Has that changed your playstyle at all, or have you just kind of said, look, I'm here to stay?
I've had to change my play style personally, because the way that this team used to play even with Kimbo is very aggressive, very in your face. Whereas when we were on X-Men, we were a bit more slower. We're thinking about what plays we were making. So it has changed. It's affected me a little bit. But I've always wanted to play that play style ever since after Worlds. I've wanted to play this aggressive play style. Just didn't really get the team to do it. So joining these guys, it's mainly me adapting to the way they're playing. But as for me being the replacement for Kimbo, I think it's these guys wanted more of communication, whereas obviously Kimbo being from a different country, not English being his first language, I think the communication wasn't there as much. So I think that's why they wanted to change. Well, I hope that isn't. I hope that's the reason why. Well, that makes sense to me. So I guess it's that.
Well, either way, Jim, who do you guys see as your biggest rivals right now? Is it Vibe, or is it potentially maybe this is gonna make Twitch chat go mad? By the way, is it someone overseas? Maybe it's maybe an American team.
We're not worried about the American teams at the moment. Obviously, we're playing.
Don't worry, boys. Don't worry.
Yeah, the word. No, okay, yeah. Vibe's probably the team we are most worried about at the moment, just because we have no opportunities to play against North American teams for quite a while. Even till maybe Worlds, next Worlds, or something like that. So there's no reason to sit there and hesitate about playing against North American teams. Just play against our own region. Make sure we play the best out of our own region, and then we can start like thinking about playing against like the top teams from NA and stuff like that. Like we're watching their streams every night. We're adapting to the way they play. Like every night we always like clip something from like Optic scrims or Envy scrims. So we are kind of like worrying about that in the same way, but like we're not too, you know, like fixated on the NA at the moment. It's just mainly about our region.
Is there a chance for you guys to play NA teams, to scrim against them? Is there cups that you can enter to do so, or is the communication there so you can play against them? I know connection sometimes can come into it, but surely that's going to be good practice for you guys.
Usually, like I get asked this on my Twitch chat so much, but like usually the answer I usually give is like it's obviously time zones. Like we scrim usually about 7 p.m. our time. And that's, you know, like an NA scrim like 10 p.m. their time, which they're Eastern's 5 hours behind. So like for them to get on and scrim their normal time, we'd have to stay out to like 4 a.m. or whatever, or they'd have to wake up early to play us. So that's usually the most hard, like the most reason why we don't play against any teams. Like connection, I don't think as much as a factor, but I think it would annoy. Like, you know, with the recent networking issues that we previously had, like I think it's like playing similarly on that. So I wouldn't, you know, I don't think it'd be fair to one team. But yeah, if any teams do want to play us, I'm sure we're down. I do want to enter the Team Beyond tournaments, but I think because Pro Leagues changed to Wednesdays now, that means the Team Beyond tournaments are on the Tuesdays. So we'd be staying up all night playing and then playing Pro League the next day. So I don't think that's the reason why we didn't do the last one, because we just didn't want to ruin our sleeping patterns.
Sounds like an excuse to me.
Oh my god. What's your? We've been talking about excuses. Do you want me to call you out on this then?
I'd rather not.
Yes.
No, you know what's coming as well.
Do it.
I'm not going to say it.
Should we?
Do it.
Want me to?
Of course, yeah.
Unless it's going to throw me under the bus in a big way, I don't know.
What's happening with the stream tomorrow? Where's ESL?
So, well, we're moving on from that one then, Jim. I want to say thank you very much for being a part of this one.
Thanks for having me.
Your fine is in the mail.
That's
cheers,
my
Jimmy.
5%.
Honestly, best of luck, dude. Honestly, it's good seeing a decent position. Obviously, I know coming off of for Worlds and things like that, you had an awesome run pulling top 8. There was a lot on the line. The summer season didn't look the best for you. You're now in this position again. Before I leave, I'm going to ask you one question, let you sign off. It's early days. Do you believe you can better your score at the next World Championship?
100% yes.
Great to hear, my friend. Take it easy and best of luck in the summer season.
See you guys.
Jim.
Thanks.
And that's his 10% being deducted very shortly.
Shotgun. I'll take 10%.
It's good to hear about his confidence, though. And it's good to see, at least, when he mentions, because let's be honest here, once we're done with the summer, we then start looking towards Worlds. And for these European teams, the NA scene is where it's at. These are the teams that need to be beaten down at the end of the day. The top 8 in the NA is the top 8 at the end of the day. You look at Allegiance, you look at LoL, alright, they're down near the bottom, but my god, they are no pushover whatsoever, so it's nice to at least see that they're taking clips, they're watching, and they've even got the eyes on the Team Beyond tournaments, that's where they're going to get the practice from, which I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe we saw Pulse Gaming come second in one of them against Enigma 6.
Well, so it is good to see European teams kind of putting themselves in that situation, so you can get that practice against those American sides, because that is what is going to make you a better team. I mean, forever, America has kind of been that little bit further than Europe in Halo. We know it's the case. I don't think anyone really would argue that, but we now have the opportunity with some of these Europeans to get to that kind of position and kind of take on those Americans. We saw Epsilon get into the top 8, and I think that FAB could even better that.
All right then, guys. Well, you've heard it here first. Jimbo is after the bettering his top 8 performance next time, and honestly, he's got a decent team to work out with. We are going to take a very short break, guys. I will ask you, do not go anywhere. We have our final series of the evening, and it could potentially be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. Who knows what could happen? Stay here, tuned, twitch.tv/Halo. We'll be right back.